Yes, we welcome all of you. Today in this video we will know about LTE IoT, means Internet of Things. What is Internet of Things? How we do IoT testing, how a drive test engineer do IoT testing, and what parameters he need to check, and why we do IoT testing, and what are the use cases of this, how its architecture look likes, and what are the important parameters we need to know. Okay, so before starting this video, if you are new, you are on this channel, subscribe to this channel and don't forget to press bell icon. Okay, so let's start. First, try to know about its architecture. Here you can see it looks like an LT architecture. Okay, here are the some components like NB IoT. NB narrowband, it is narrowband, and IoT means Internet of Thing. Okay, this is UE, or we can say IoT device, and this is eNodeB, which is called BTS. In 4G it is called eNodeB. eNodeB is connected to the IoT EPC, means core network, via S1 light. Okay, and this is the IoT platform and application server. So first try to know about the IoT device or IoT UE. It communicates with the eNodeB over the air interface, and eNodeB which performs functions such as air interface, access processing, and cell management. eNodeB communicate with IoT. Okay, evolved packet core. This eNodeB is communicate with this IoT EPC through S1 light interface and send non-access datum, which is called NAS data, to the IoT EPC for processing. Okay, IoT EPC interacts with the NAS of the UE and forward IoT data to the IoT platform for processing. Okay, this IoT EPC communicate with the IoT device through the NAS procedure. Okay, and send IoT data to the IoT platform for processing. Now IoT platform, here you can see IoT platform convert IoT data from access network and forward different type of data to their corresponding application server. Okay, and what is the work of application server? Here you can see application server receives and processes IoT data. Okay, now first try to know the basic points of IoT. Okay, here you can see the basic point. First, its full form is NB-IoT Narrowband Internet of Thing. Okay, Narrowband Internet of Thing is a low power wide area network radio technology, okay, which is called LPWAN. It is the release 13 standard, which is developed by 3GPP for cellular network devices and services. It improves power consumptions of the devices for user devices. We can say user devices, system capacity, and spectrum efficiency in deep coverage where LT coverage cannot reach. Okay, the battery life in NB-IoT is more than 10 plus years because of its low signaling. Okay, and higher latency, high security. In NB-IoT, latency, low latency means 1.6 to 10 seconds, and can be supported for a wide range of use cases. There are too many use cases of NB-IoT which we will discuss in next video, but I can show you some points. Okay, and if we talk about its cost, it is so cheaper than LTE-M, which is called LTE machine. Okay, it is cheaper than the LTE machine. Its initial cost of the NB-IoT module is expected to be comparable to GSM or GPRS. It is cheaper and operates on low bandwidth. Low bandwidth means one resource block of LTE, which is of 180 kilohertz. One resource block in LTE is of 180 kilohertz, and the sub-carrier spacing in downlink is used 15 kilohertz, and in uplink for single tone transmission it is used 3.75 kilohertz and 15 kilohertz sub-carrier spacing, and for multi-tone SCFDMA with 15 kilohertz sub-carrier spacing. Due to multiple sub-carrier spacing in uplink, it has higher throughput in uplink. Okay, comparison to Downlink. It is supported by all major mobile equipment, chipset and module manufacturer. NB-IoT can coexist with 2G. We can install it with 2G, 3G, 4G or 5G mobile networks. Okay, it operates in license cellular systems spectrum, and it uses QPSK, quadrature phase shifting digital modulation. Okay, in uplink IoT uses FDMA, frequency division multiplexing, and in downlink it uses OFDMA, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. FDMA here means the available bandwidth is divided into many non-overlapping frequency bands, where each band is dynamically assigned to a specific user to transmit data. Here we can know maximum data speed is up to 250 kbps in IoT. Okay, uplink speed is higher than the downlink speed in IoT, and in LTE-M we can see the data speed up to 1 Mbps. Okay, it needs one SIM card for the devices, and devices transmit power is 14 dBm, 20 dBm or 23 dBm. IoT module come with high gain antenna, attenuators, chipset and sensors. For configuring the device configuration of device, the IoT device needs an APN setting, which is done by the some commands. If some any DT go for the drive test, he need a software, drive test software and IoT dongle, which having a antenna, a SIM card slot and a dongle. Okay, so here is the some snapshots of drive test. Here you can see the some drive test parameters: LTFDD band 8, PCI, RSRP, RSRQ and RSSI. Okay, here you can see the PRB. One PRB modulation scheme is used, QPSK only. Okay, these are the drive test parameters like packet technology, band, channel numbers, RSRP, RSRQ, SHINE-R, RSSI, physical cell ID, subcarrier spacing, primary cell bandwidths. Okay, if someone asks in interview what is the modulation scheme which is used in NB-IoT, so you can say it is the QPSK. And what is the bandwidth used for IoT and LTE, so you can say 180 kilohertz, and the subcarrier spacing which is used is 15 kilohertz in downlink and uplink, and for uplink 3.75 kilohertz also. Okay, for singleton. Okay, and the maximum speed is 250 kbps, up to 250 kbps, and uplink speed is higher than downlink speed. Okay, and it is cheaper, IoT is cheaper than LTE machine. So now try to know about some applications and advantages. Its applications are smart meters. Here you can see from the smart meters you can fetch gas bills, house water bills, house light bills. Okay. Application is street lighting, industrial control, residential security, municipal infrastructure, agriculture, alarm and event detector, smart parking, asset management. How these applications works and how it look like, we will know in next video. Okay, and what are the advantages? Main advantages is low power consumption, high density network, higher data rate up to 250 kbps and lower bandwidth, while it is using lower bandwidth, lower cost application, low bandwidth, large coverage. Okay, there are some features of NB-IoT. NB-IoT released 13 features, NB-IoT released 14 features, NB-IoT released 15 features. In NB-IoT released 13 features, you can see PSM standalone timers, EDRX configuration, stow and periodic tow, IPs for volt timer, standalone deployment, LT card band deployment, LT in-band deployment, paging, SCEF deployment plus SMS deployment. The most important thing, there is no mobility management or handover mechanism in IoT. It is for stationary only. While LTE machine is also for mobility, means there are handover mechanism also. Okay, so in 13 lease features, here you can see call reselection, coverage extension, power class, rate control, home subcarrier servers, upgrade available, multi-frequency band indicators, connected mode, DRX support, UICC deactivation during DRX, non-IP data delivery, user plane CIoT optimizations. If we talk about release 15 features, positioning is CID, OT, DOA, new category narrowband 2 power class 6 14 dBm connected mode mobility multicast transmission group messaging paging and random access on non-anchor car release assistant indication. And one most important question which interview can ask in the interview, here is only MIP SIP1 and SIP2, there are no more SIPs. Okay, because of low signaling its latency is so less. Okay, so response time is low from transmitting to receiving. Okay, so less signaling is there. If we talk about these 15 features, here you can see some 15 features also. Okay, now next is some channels, NB IoT physical channels. Here is some channels. There are three types of downlink physical channels for NB IoT. First one is narrowband physical broadcast channel, NPBCH. N means narrowband, PBCH physical broadcast control channel, which is responsible for transmitting master information flow. NPDCCH means narrowband physical downlink control channel, which is responsible for carrying the downlink control information, which is DCI. And third one is NPDSCH narrowband physical downlink shared channel, which is responsible for carrying the downlink data. Okay, and below here you can see the mapping between the channels between transport channels and physical channels. Okay, so narrowband physical uplink shared channel is responsible for carrying the uplink data, and NPRAC channel is responsible for carrying random access messages. So you can read these channels and understand the meaning of one by one. Okay, so there are some modes of operation in which NB-IoT is configured. Okay, first at the right side you can see standalone operation which is used for GSM carrier. In standalone deployment scenario, operators deploy NB-IoT using existing idle spectrum resources. Okay, these resources can be the operator's spectrum fragments with non-standard bandwidth, or we can say is passed from other radio access technologies by reforming. Okay, and if we talk about LTE guardband deployment, the middle one, LTE guardband deployment. In guardband deployment scenario, operators deploy NB-IoT in guardbands within existing LTE spectrum resources. Okay, and in left one, in-band operation. In in-band operation, what happens? A guardband deployment is a deployment scenario in which operators deploy NB-IoT in guardbands within LTE spectrum resources. Okay, in-band, this is in-band, it is used for in-band bandwidth, and this is for guardband, it will use for guard bandwidth, that is for 10%. Okay, so now try to know about attach procedure. So we will discuss this point in next video. For this video it's complete. Thank you.